ADHD has mania, and that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is ADHD, and especially bipolar 1, they get misdiagnosed a lot because they have so many overlapping traits. One of the biggest, though, is ADHD has mania. I'm diagnosed ADHD. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a counselor. I'm diagnosed ADHD, PTSD, depression, and anxiety. ADHD's manic episodes are different than bipolar by the way that it is not, it's chronic. It's always there. It's not necessarily just an episode. Our hyperactivity gets us to the point where we have a lot of the same overlying traits of hypersexuality. We go on the spending sprees, over generous. We go into that area of just expending tons of energy. We act on impulse without thinking through any of the risks that we're taking. I go through a lot of manic episodes. People with bipolar can also sense that, even if they're not ADHD. I had a friend of mine today who actually edits a majority of my videos. Jenny, she even goes, I know that you're going through a manic episode. We can smell our own. And we can. My manic episodes involve a lot of spending. It involves a lot of just irritability, not being able to slow down, not being able to collect my thoughts. Even though I'm taking my Adderall, my thoughts are there, but I have this overwhelming urge inside. It's like this beast inside that wants to break out and just conquer everything. It's like the Hulk. You know, it's Bruce Banner. Once he gets angry, he turns into Hulk. It's the same with ADHD. The episodes are always there. It goes in waves, though. So I will go through these streaks where I'll get massively, and I'll think motivated, even though there's mania involved in it, of doing a lot of YouTube videos or over obsessing about work or being over generous, spending a ton of money, thinking that I need to just take on everything when I don't. Get over hypersexual where sexuality and sex will dominate my brain. I become very big at risk taking. It controls you in that sense. And that's what mania is, and people don't understand. A lot of times, even when someone's bipolar or they're ADHD, they're like, dude, you got to watch your money better. Well, when I was using, my mania phases hit with my addiction. I mean, I was overly generous as an addict. I was spending massive amounts of money on my addiction without thinking through any of the consequences. It's one of those things to keep in check, and you have to have almost an accountability buddy to keep you in check on those mania phases, because if not, we won't tell ourselves that we're going through a manic episode. We'll just think that we're overly motivated or that we are just desiring to do this so bad that we don't take that step back and realize, no, it's actually our brain. It's our brain doing this to us. So having somebody who can actually step in and say, hey, you're going through a manic episode, slow it down a little bit. You got to start taking care of yourself because you're not going to sleep very much at all. I just went through this, actually. I just went through an episode. It lasted for almost a week. The difference with my manic episodes, though, I don't feel the unlimited energy like somebody with bipolar does. I don't feel just nonstop roar. Mine goes up and down in waves. And that is what a lot of people with ADHD will say, because we don't realize that there is that manic episode sometimes. And it took me a long time to realize that, oh my God, what I'm going through is a manic episode. I didn't know that. And so I had to talk to my doctor about it. It wasn't until probably, I would say, roughly about 2 years ago that I found out about ADHD mania. And I'm like, holy shit. This makes a lot of sense. This makes sense of, if I look back at my patterns of why I was doing things the way I was, why I would go through massive spending sprees, why I would struggle at times with sex addiction, why I would struggle at times with no sleep, and I would just nonstop go, 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 go. Keeping yourself in check is huge. Making sure that you're taking your medication is huge. Taking my Adderall as prescribed, 10 milligrams in the morning, 10 milligrams in the afternoon, helps keep that in check, but I also need somebody else to keep it in check. If you do struggle with those manic episodes, you got to find somebody who understands and sees the signs that you're not stopping, and you almost isolate yourself some from other things that you enjoy, because so much focus where maybe it was divvied up all around you comes to almost a hyper-focused and it all goes into this. And you drain yourself and you break yourself and you exhaust yourself to the point that everything around you, the balls all drop. It's like if you pictured a bunch of spinning plates. You let all the plates drop and you just go after the one and you spin it even faster. That's what it's like. That is what our mania phase is like, and it's okay. Knowing that your child or that your spouse is going through this is okay. That's why even when it comes to budgeting and to money, it has to be even in a relationship, a partnership, because I can tell you this, if it wasn't, all the money goes away at times and all the money comes in at times and it goes away at times. There's these ups and these downs, and it's like riding a roller coaster. Most people can't handle it. It's a lot to ride that roller coaster. I mean, make sure that the safety harness is locked down, because when it's high, it's high. And man, when you drop, you drop. And when that energy is expelled, you have a 2-3 day recovery, is at least my personal experience, because you've just expended yourself, like everything, your heart, your soul, your brain, everything into something. And the shitty part about it is the reverse effect of when the mania is going on, you're ultra motivated. And I don't mean just a little motivated. I mean, you are Tony Robbins on steroids, throwing some Gary V on steroids, blender them up, throwing some spinach because you got Popeye in there, motivated. When it goes away, that overlapping fear of failure, of letdown, of depression seeps in very, very easily. You look back and you go, well, shit, was it all worth it, what I did? I could have used my time here. Self-doubt starts coming in. One of the easy ways I found to overcome that is with positive affirmation, with your goals. You know, reminding yourself that you are okay, that you are beautiful, that you are wonderful, that you are strong, that you are worth it. Because that, like with me, fear of failure can dominate me. And my mania phases after it can have that seep in very, very hard. The depression seeps in very hard because you're exhausted and you're tired. You look around and you realize that your house isn't clean the way that you want it to. Your dishes aren't done. Your laundry's piled up. All of these different things in your life have been dropped because your focus and your attention and all your energy and massive amounts of it went towards this one thing, or it went towards these two things. That's it. And remember that it is going to come back. You don't know when it's going to come back, but it's going to come back, and it's not going to go away. Doesn't mean that you're broken or weak. It's not anything to be afraid of, because if you harness that energy and put it into the right areas of your life, man, it makes it so much better. But knowing when it's hitting is key. So have that accountability partner. Have somebody saying to you, are you okay? It sounds to me like you're going through a mania phase. Here's why. Because you have to explain why. When we're living that moment, we don't see it from that outside perspective. We don't see it from the way that others are seeing it. When it's broken down to us of, hey, this is what you're going through, we go, oh shit, light bulb's up. You're right. And that's literally what happened to me. I was, fuck, light bulb, God, you're right. I'm going through a manic episode. All right, I need to slow down. Once you have that realization, especially with ADHD, and you take your meds and you go, okay, let me get back to my routine. Let me get back to the basics. That's like my grounding for the mania phases. It is falling back into my routine, setting limitations so that I don't overstep those and get obsessed with them and sucked back into it. It brings me comfort. It fights then off that depression. It stops the mania and slows it down. Falling back into that routine of going, this is what I have to do. Okay, let me look around. What did I drop the ball with? What do I have to pick up? Okay, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. It brings you back centered. And it's so important to be, because we can pull ourselves out of it, because with ADHD, we look at it from a different angle than when it is with bipolar, because we can feel the energy just being sucked out of us. And we're going, man, why am I tired? Why can't I sleep, but I'm exhausted? Why am I up at 1 a.m? You know, man, this doesn't make any sense. Because we're living that moment. We're not viewing the moment. We can tell when others are going through a manic episode. We just can't tell when we're going through it. So make sure that you have that. Make sure that you have somebody to step in and help you. And it's kind of like weightlifting. It's having that spotter when they're going, dude, you're struggling. Let me help you put this up, and we're done with this set. Put up the weights, done with the set. Let's take a couple breaths. Let's regroup and go back at it. That is how you help stop that mania. And then when you go through it, remember this, there's nothing wrong with you. We all do it, especially if you're ADHD. It's part of having ADHD. It doesn't mean that you're weak or broken. It means that you're a fucking badass. I appreciate everybody who's a part of the channel. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, hit that like and subscribe button. Love to have you along for the journey. Down below, I have links to BetterHelp. If you need online therapy, I have links to all the affiliate links to Amazon of tools that I use, to the website. We do sell merchandise. I've created a nonprofit called Driven Together, and it's sharing tools, experiences, and resources for anybody out there struggling. Also bridging that gap between therapy and a crisis hotline, because it's a we thing, it's an us thing. There's mental health community links below for our Discord, for adults, for teens, to get the support that you need, because let's face it, a lot of times in life, things aren't explained to us. And knowing what we're going through makes it that much easier. And knowing that you don't have to go through it alone. Remembering that you're not the only one doing this, that you are amazing, that you are wonderful, that you are beautiful, that you're smart, that you're a BAMF. You're a badass motherfucker. You made it through 100% of your worst days to make it through 2 today. Remember that you got this. If you like what we do, we even have a Patreon account. It's tax deduction. You know what? It's a nonprofit. We just want to make a difference. And together we can. So hit that like and subscribe button. Comment down below. Love to have you along for the journey.